Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices and we've allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something you can see yourself supporting, well, we ask that you join the cause. Make sure that you like and follow all of our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this program is being streamed live on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. We could be found under Frankie Olivo. Make sure you follow our personal page on Face. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. As of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, the constituent, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. So if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable, we ask that you join and support the cause. Make sure that you subscribe to all of our social media platforms. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday religiously. So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube page channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. We will not be silenced. And always remember, Brownsville, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you for your time and attention that you provide us. Thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Wednesday. I do have my days kind of, maybe you too, my day kind of contrampeados. I was thinking yesterday was Monday. The school, the BISD, the students are back in the classrooms today. So we wish them a good start to the second half of the year. Spring break is right around the corner. So we wish them and staff as well much success. Lolita, did you get the baby? So you are going to provide tamales, tamalada for your family or for your colleagues at work, wherever you had that festivity. Lots to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. Very interesting. Contrampeado, all mixed up. I'm trying to say, I talk pocho. Contrampeado. All I got my days all mixed up because of the holidays. But I hope you understand what I mean. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about something very interesting that happened yesterday at the city of Brownsville. We titled our program, "Is the city of Brownsville going after bar owners, which ultimately will be affecting their pocketbooks?" Bar owners already pay a liquor fee, a liquor license, tax sales to the city. And now the city wants to come down hard on them. Do we have a problem at the city commission to where they're not enforcing their laws and their rules? They're opening up businesses, allowing bars to open up left and right. And then when problems happen, they blame the bar owners. Right now, we are at a crossroads, especially for bar owners. And we're going to talk about and show you, the constituent, of how business owners, at yesterday's City of Brownsville meeting, they spoke against the city commission and they said, hey, one business owner said, hey, I'm losing close to $1 million compared to last year. Who's at fault here? Should we blame the city of Brownsville, the planning and zoning department, for opening up bars in a certain location? Or should we blame the bar owners for what has been going on? And that is how we will start today's show. But first, a word from our sponsors.
I've dedicated my life to public service, but now I see a county that's ready for change. It's time to bring accountability, transparency, and efficiency to how your tax dollars are managed. We can lower taxes and make government work smarter for you. I'm Jonathan Gracia, and I humbly ask for your vote for Cameron County Treasurer, so together we can build a better future.
Whenever we talk about the nightlife, entertainment, I think we can all agree that we enjoy it. We can all remember times, maybe in our youth, where we would go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Some people like to go to the bars, like to go have dinner after work to relax, to enjoy themselves. Maybe they had a rough day at the office, want to unwind a bit. Some people like to have a glass of wine and just be at ease, ready to tackle the next day. What we are seeing with the city of Brownsville is very, very serious and troubling moving forward, especially if you are an entrepreneur. Here at Good Morning Brownsville, we always pride ourselves in promoting business, especially small businesses, local mom and pops. Whenever we talk about the responsibilities and hardships that it is to be a small business owner, well, many of us could relate. We ourselves are small business owners, and we understand the realities. Whenever we work for somebody, let's say a corporation or for a boss, well, we're used to having a steady paycheck, maybe once a month, maybe twice a week, once every 2 weeks, cada quincena. But for those individuals that are business owners, sometimes they don't know if they're going to make it. Stress is through the roof. They don't know whether they're going to be able to provide for their household. And you and I can agree, Lolita, you are too kind, Lolita. Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for that. Um, thank you so much, Lolita. There is a struggle that bar owners, that business owners in general go through. It doesn't matter what business you have. The reality is that sometimes you're going to pay your bills, sometimes you're late paying your bills. What we are starting to see now is that the city of Brownsville is considering regulating bars by limiting alcohol sales after a certain time, after a certain hour, in response to recent crimes in the area, particularly Palo Quisel. And the city has argued that late night drinking often coincides with increased disorder and strains on public safety resources. What we have seen has been that the city officials emphasize the need for greater police presence during this hour to try to deter activity and ensure community safety. The reality is that we at the city of Brownsville do not have the manpower. For a population of 185 on paper, in reality, it is closer to 210,000 residents in the city of Brownsville. There is not enough ambulance, there is not enough EMTs, and not enough firefighters, not enough police officers to keep our city safe. The bar owners, however, they contend that, hey, they've already done their part. They already paid their fair share through liquor license, through tax sales, which are intended to support these type of policing, these type of regulations. And they argue that additional restrictions and regulations, they could unfairly punish responsible businesses. Why should one bad establishment or a few bad establishments ultimately be the reason for the whole block of Pablo Quisel to feel the wrath of what the city of Brownsville is intending to do? Ultimately, what this debate does is that it highlights the challenges of balancing economic viability with the city's responsibility to reduce crime and allocate sufficient law enforcement resources where they are most needed. Now, I don't want you to think that we turn the other cheek in regards to crime. We like to pride ourselves and we want a community that we feel safe. want to be able to take our loved ones, our families out and have a good time. How can we promote supporting local businesses if we ourselves aren't out there in these establishments, eating at these restaurants, spending money and putting money back into these entrepreneurs, the local entrepreneurs? It's troubling because at the end of the day, what we feel is happening is an injustice to the bar owners. While I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but I myself, I don't frequent the bars. I like to be at home. Many people call me old. I like to think that I'm responsible. And you have heard what has been happening as of late. And we can talk about the Rio Grande Valley as a whole, Lolita. The city of McAllen and their city commission ultimately have filed lawsuits. They have closed establishments because of violence, because of crime. We did see videos of police officers in McAllen being assaulted when they were trying to break up a fight. While we haven't seen that here in Brownsville, but we have seen our fair share of something similar. If you follow Brownsville Hood News, and I encourage you to do so, Brownsville Hood News and Tito for la Pulga do a good job of keeping us up to date of what is happening within our city. It seems as if Thursday through Sunday, if you go on Brownsville Hood News, we see these, what they call epic dance battles, these fights. And the majority of this problem involves a younger demographic, a younger generation. Many people say, you see, the bars are the reason why these young adults acting crazy. Now, there is a certain responsibility that bar owners have. I don't want you to misconstrue that. Each bar is supposed to abide by certain guidelines. Whenever we talk about capacity, they are the fire marshal that go and do random checks to make sure that each establishment is in accordance with the regulations. And according to the square footage in these establishments, they're only allowed to bring in a certain number of clientele. After they meet that mark, they have to pause everyone at the door until people start leaving. Other regulations by TABC that Rafita talks about may not get enforced. When we talk about the entertainment and nightlife, we can all agree that we've seen how bartenders take shots with the fellow patrons. We've all seen videos and pictures of this. And maybe there's a camaraderie amongst the client and the server, the bartender. They want to be thankful for the service and the attention that these bartenders have been giving them. And they say, hey, let me buy you a shot. That's against the rules. Why? Because the bar owners themselves should be at full capacity in all six senses, in all five senses. Six senses. Because they are the ones that are to determine whether I should stop serving you alcohol or not. And the reason being is that these bars, these establishments, well, they have a high liability. They could get sued. In recent years, Pablo Quisel has been the topic of discussion because of instances like this, where we have seen how fights have broken out. In all fairness to the bar owners, they say, hey, you can't blame us for what's happening outside of our doors. We are responsible for everything that happens inside. We pay for security, we pay for constables, we do our part. Why should we get blamed for what happens? What we have seen as of late has been that the city has tried to crack down on this. They have tried to change the model of these bars. The purpose is safety. We understand that. But what this has caused, and what we're going to show you in a clip from a bar owner that spoke at the city commission, was that they're losing money. The city commission has said, you know what? We need to change the demographics. Aha! The reason why these fights are breaking out is because they're young teenagers. They can't control their alcohol. Maybe they're right. And what we have seen from an entrepreneur named Rick Masso, who is an owner of several establishments in the Pablo Quisel area, was that he changed the model of his business in order to comply with the wishes of the city commission, of the recommendations from the city. They said, you know what? You need to change this model. Maybe it's the teens. Maybe it's the underage drinking. Maybe it's the young person that's going out. They can't control their alcohol. And someone such as Rick Masso said, look, the Dive, a very popular establishment, changed. And if you aren't frequent with that establishment, or what once was the Dive, that place was bumping from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That was the place to be. If you passed by Pablo Quisel in that area, there was no parking. Heck, they had to park at the funeral home or at the funeral parking lot across the street. We have business owners such as Mr. Masso that is, excuse my French, bending over to comply with the rules and regulations and recommendations of the city commission. Now, we understand that the city has a great responsibility in making sure that everyone is safe. Just last month, in my opinion, the reason why this is happening is because of something that happened. The thing that broke the camel's back, so to speak. There was a stabbing. A young 18-year-old was stabbed in the face. Many people, many critics have said the only reason why the city is cracking down on Pablo Quisel is because it was the son of a judge here in Cameron County. Now, we'd like to think that the life of the son of a judge, the life of people from the barrio are just as equal. And we don't want to state that that's the reason why the city is coming down, because the son of a judge was hurt, was in ICU. We hope and pray that this young man recovers from that tragic event. Nobody goes out. Nobody goes to work thinking that they are going to be susceptible to violence, right? Currently, right now, the suspect in this Brownsville Bar District stabbing that hospitalized 2 individuals is currently in hiding, unless I'm mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sharky, how's it going? We need to collaborate, Sharky. Let me know when you're free. We'll do the show whenever, if you're free, just to talk about random stuff, nothing in particular. Nice to see you, Sharky. We'd like to think that the city commission is not cracking down just because it's the son of a judge, but because the value of life is now at risk. Now it's not just a fight, fist fights. Now it's violence with knives, with objects. What many people are weary of is that the city is cracking down hard because of a few business owners. Do we have enough manpower? Whenever they asked the assistant city manager, who also serves as the police chief for the city, he says that it costs the city around $2,500 per night. When he equates that over through the course of the year, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not hitting the $1 million mark for policing and for having these police officers patrol and have presence in the area. The bar owners are critical of this and say, hey, we do our part. We make sure that no underage drinking is happening here. We advise our bartenders not to overserve. Whenever you see a patron that has had too much to drink, we stop them. Why? Because the bar owners know that they are susceptible to being sued, to litigation. The last thing these entrepreneurs want is for the city to close their doors. Right now, we are seeing a standoff on who blinks first. Is it going to be the bar owners who pay a liquor license, pay a liquor tax to the city? They are paying thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to the city. Where is that money going to? Shouldn't that money offset for policing, for an increase of police presence? Yesterday, the city of Brownsville did have the monthly meeting, the first meeting for the start of the year, and an agenda item was placed that read action on reading ordinance, amusement and entertainment of the city of Brownsville Code of Ordinance to add Article 4, establishing the Midtown Entertainment District along Highway 69 from Media Luna Road, which I'm assuming is the bar, a very frequent established bar, along to Morrison Road, Pablo Quisel, and along Highway 77 to Central Boulevard between Morrison and Media Luna Road, along Pablo Quisel Boulevard and Ruben Torres, and its point of intersection with Seville Boulevard to regulate bars and restaurants, adding civil and criminal penalties. What the city is wanting to do is that they want to create this Midtown Entertainment District, that they have to give a license. The bar owners have to receive a license from the city to be able to sell alcohol after 12 a.m. Right now, us patrons were able to go to any establishment and have an alcoholic beverage until 2 a.m. That is the norm. But now the city is wanting to regulate that and say, we're going to change that because of something that happened. Gossage said, wasn't there a near death in that area? Someone was stabbed and they didn't do anything then. This is the area. This is the map in question that these city commissioners want to target on these bar owners. Now, is this being done to all the bars in the city of Brownsville? No. To my understanding, Pablo Quisel and that area on Morrison Road, the bar moving forward, that's the area that is being targeted. Bar owners are saying, hey, if you're doing it to one, you must do it to all. The city commission yesterday argued and stated, well, we have had a high increase of violence, of crimes, of calls to this area, so we must do something about this. And we agree, something needs to get done. But we will make the argument and be in support of bar owners. They are already doing their fair share of paying their dues. Where is that money going? Can't that money subsidize for these police officers to have a patrol unit in that area? There was talks about Commissioner Tino Villarreal did speak about them not paying a security officer. A security officer is mainly there just to search, make sure that no weapons go into the establishment, possibly to do a count. They have a clicker, making sure that they are within the code so the fire marshal doesn't close them down. But if something happens, the security officer is going to call the police. And I believe the cost of a security officer ranges from $17 to $20, in that range, per hour. Compared to a constable, a peace officer, they range from $45 to $50, somewhere in that range. Now, every bar, to my understanding, is required to provide some sort of security. I think there is no question about that. And maybe now they will be more inclined to hire constables, peace officers, individuals that are able to make arrests if needed. If, lo and behold, somebody with a weapon is endangering the community, they could be able to possibly use lethal force for safety reasons. But what bothers me about this is that the ones that are being affected by this are the bar owners. Why is this happening? Why are the Pablo Quisel area being targeted? And look, I have friends that are bar owners. I'm all support of entrepreneurship. I want you to frequent their establishments. I want you to spend money in those places. Ultimately, they hire local people. They spend money here locally. They provide jobs to people. I sound like a hypocrite because I don't go, because I don't drink. I do go to the mom and pop restaurants. And maybe because of what's been happening at Pablo Quisel, maybe that's the reason why I won't go. Now, Ramsey's just opened up, Ramsey's Tacos, and I did go with our office for over the Christmas holidays. And it's a beautiful place, great food. The vibe was amazing. And Ramsey's now has been like the place to go. And we encourage our viewers to go to these places. I want you to hear firsthand from these bar owners, because it's important for us to recognize that they are the ones that are providing jobs. They are the ones that ultimately are paying taxes. I will always, Good Morning Brownsville will always be in support of business owners. It is because of them that this city thrives. I want you to listen to an owner. Listen to what he says. He was making $1.4 million or over $1 million last year. This past year, they brought in $400,000, a loss of $600,000, possibly more. Listen to what he has to say.
Here that wishes to address the commission, please step forward, state your name for the record. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Rick Mosso. I own the Dive Bar in Brownsville and a couple of other bars in Brownsville. I did meet with the commissioners we did make a big change. We went from the dive bar to an 80s and 90s bar like Mr. Villarreal recommended. We saw a huge decrease in revenue. We're trying to survive. We're trying to pay the rent. We're trying to make the bills. It's hard. People our age don't go out 7 days a week. People our age probably don't go out once a week. So we have our challenges. We went from selling $1.6 million a year to selling $450,000 last year by changing, our age group, not going after the young customers, but going after the older customers. So we paid the bill. We're trying to get through. I'm here to speak about the proposed Midtown Entertainment District, right? Everyone here wants safer nightlife. I mean, so do we. As owners of businesses, we don't like to see the fights. We don't like the stabbings. We don't like the violence. It doesn't bring more business. You are correct. It's hard for us to be able to do it, though. Most of the problems are outside of the business after 2 a.m., after we have no control. Our security goes outside and stops a fight and gets stabbed or hits somebody, they get sued. So the liability turns to us now. So now we're liable not only for the drinks we serve and everything else, but what happens after 2 a.m. All of the commissioners, I think, here that spoke tonight all said the same thing. There's one issue, one plaza. That's where all the issues are coming from. Yet this ordinance talks about going all the way to Central Boulevard, going all the way down to, not downtown, of course, but all the way around the city with the exception of downtown. If this is going to be done, it has to be done within the city, I think. I don't think that there should be restrictions. I don't think that that's fair. I think for those of us that met with the chief, that met with the commissioners and made the changes, like we made, we haven't had any fights. We haven't, because we have a different age group. And it does make a huge difference because people our age aren't looking to fight. We're looking to go home and get to bed and put our pajamas on. But the liability shifts, okay? And when I say liability is when something happens outside of our property, outside of our bar, we're no longer responsible, right? TABC tells us not to get involved. If there is a fight outside, our security is not supposed to go outside because then they become liable, And it's like Brownsville PD, we've seen videos of Brownsville PD at the location trying to stop the fight. These young kids are still not stopping. So if Brownsville PD can't stop them, it's even harder for us to stop them. And it's a challenge and it's something that we want to work together on. But I do feel that if it's going to be something that you guys are going to lock in, it should be for the entire city, not for sections of the city. I think that, I'd like to ask the commissioners to take a little bit of time to discuss this. We can meet again. We can look at the numbers. We can look at where the problems are and we can work together to try to fix the problems. But I don't think the solution is taking an isolated area in Brownsville and making all the bars, restaurants pay for it. It's $65,000 a year. That's what it would cost each business to have one security guard per bar. So I own 3 bars. That would cost me $185,000 to have one security at each bar. I can't afford that, especially not complying with what you guys asked us to comply with. You guys asked us to make sure we put more lighting outside. We did that. Make sure we put the cameras up. We did that. Make sure we have security guards. We have them. We don't have enough business now to stay open during the week because we've changed our demographic. So we're here asking you as a small business owner, don't put us out of business. It's hard for us to pay the price for other people's mistakes. Thank you.
Very powerful words, ladies and gentlemen. And it was interesting to hear what this business owner, Rick Mossel, local entrepreneur, he said that he has multiple establishments. If this city commission is going to provide or pass this ordinance, he's not going to make it. They're going to be requiring these security officers, these constables to be placed at each and every bar. He said he owns 3. That's close to $200,000, Lolita. Why is these business owners having to pay for policing? We understand each establishment, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they are supposed to have some sort of security officer or a bouncer, so to speak. I don't know if that's a requirement or a recommendation. You could correct me if I'm wrong. But I've spoken to business owners. They have messaged me. They said, hey, bro, we already pay. Let me bring up something. Where is it? They already pay a lot of money in the sales tax. Why are they still having to pay more? And the 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 owner's question was, where does that money go to? Why are we having to pay for something that's not going to benefit us? I know, by law they have to pay this tax, so to speak. But shouldn't the city be more proactive? Because I want to. I guess we can continue. We had another bar owner from Brewski's. He said, "Look, don't blame us. Don't blame us bar owners. The blame, he didn't want to say it, but I'll say it for y'all bar owners. The reason why this is a mess is because of you, city commission, and maybe not these current city commissioners, maybe previous commissioners that have served. Because they say that even after the city commission has been outspoken of what's been happening, even after this and all these problems that they've been happening, even after this, they have opened up 3 or 4 bars in the same area. What? So you have the city commission saying, you need more lighting. Rick Mazo said, we did that. You need more cameras. Rick Mazo said, we did that. We're doing everything you asked because, again, what did we see, Lolita, from McAllen? McAllen cracked down hard. They filed a lawsuit and they closed several businesses down. Rightfully so. There is allegations of a young 18, 19-year-old female who was behind the wheel that ultimately cost the life of a few people. And they traced it back to her being at this bar. So the bar owners, hey, they're doing what is asked. They're spending money, extra money, just to comply. And now you're wanting to crack down on them even more? Who should the blame be placed on? I'm going to say that the blame should be placed on the city commission. One, we need to do a better job of increasing our manpower. I understand we have a difficult task in front of us. The city budget is around, correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere in the 130 to 150 mark, in that area, if I'm not mistaken. We need to do a better job of hiring more man force. And I know it's a difficult task because I have seen how someone wanting to be a peace officer with the constable's office or with the sheriff's department, they go through the training only for the federal agencies, border patrol, 3-letter agencies, pick them up with higher pay. But we need to do a better job of promoting the position of peace officer for the Brownsville Police Department. I know it's a difficult task, but it seems as if it's a yes and no, Jose Mario, and I understand where you're coming from. If we talk about you and I, well, I'll speak for myself. If I go to an establishment and I see a cop, if I see a unit, a patrol car, I would feel a little bit more safe as compared to if I go to another bar and it's a rough area. I'd be like, I don't know if I'm going to go there. I'll probably go to the one in the unit. Because there is this idea that is being thrown out at the city commission that these bar owners, they're attracting the worst of the worst. What do you offer the youth? To stay out of trouble, a clean record. That's what we offer. Yes and no. And look, it's not an easy solution. I don't want to come before you and say, do this, do that, do this, do that, because the bar owners, they've been doing what has been asked of them. My problem is that they have been complying with each and every request that the city commission has given them, and that's still not enough. Why should we fault the business owners? Again, I'm all pro-business. I'm all less government. And if the government wants to do more government, why should the little man with less resources, who's got more resources? A business owner or the city commission with $130 million budget? And I know you might be thinking, oh, well, you know, it's best to just close them down because I live in the area, and that's not the point. The point should be that our city commission, our local municipality should do a better job of policing. And it's a double-edged sword, right? Because how Jose Mario says, well, you're going to deter the youth. I don't think so. I think the youth want to party. It doesn't matter where they are at. I think it would deter them from acting a fool. I think it would prevent is a strong word. Maybe they wouldn't have the courage to act like fools. They would think twice, Jose Mario, if they see a police car and say, maybe their friends that they're with would be like, hey, coge la fría, tira león. Don't do that. Not here. Isn't that a valid argument? Isn't that a valid statement? So here we have a business owner that said, hey, I was making well over $1 million in my businesses. I'm only making $400,000. This is after I did everything that you asked. And now you want me to spend even more money? I'm not going to make it. And why is Pablo Quisel being targeted? If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Do it for everyone. Not just us. Let's take a look at another bar owner, because he doesn't want to state that it's the city commission's fault, but I'll say it. It's the city commission's fault. Listen to what he has to say.
Hello, Mayor and Commissioners. Going back to what Commissioner De Leon said,
Please state your name, please.
Juan Ruiz Jr. I had attended Commissioner De Leon's meeting, and I voiced my concerns and I voiced my frustration that day. And it all goes back to you guys are sick. You guys don't want to pinpoint Pablo Quisel Plaza as the main culprit or the main situation, but me and my partner, we do everything that the ordinance says to do. We've done it even way before the ordinance was put. We had constables on. We don't serve no minors. We do everything in our power to make sure that our employees and our customers are safe. Now, since Shot San Paulo has opened, there's been 6, 7 new bars that have opened. And that's not our fault. I don't know whose fault that is. The city's allowing the plaza manager allowing all these new bars to open. And just because now we having these situations where people are getting hurt and stuff like that. And like the other commissioner said, Mr. Cardenas, that man was a minor. I have some points right here. So what I already said, we hire licensed constables. We check IDs at the door. We enforce occupancy limits. the fire marshals go by and they do their checks, and they have shut down other bars before because they are over capacity. Underage drinking and overcrowding come from a lack of enforcement, not a lack of rules. The laws already exist. The problem is that some new bars ignore them. Enforcing existing laws against bad actors will solve more than adding new restrictions that responsible businesses already follow. Me and my partner also own Brewski's Pub and Eatery. I'm all for this ordinance that you're saying, but like going off what Rick Masso said, it is going to cost us a lot of money. And we haven't had no problem at Brewski's because it's a older clientele. We do have a few kids that go in, but we're kind of like during the hours of operations from 11 to around 9 o'clock, we're a family-friendly establishment. So you could bring your kids and you could watch a game, have a drink, eat some food. And then after that, our kitchen closes at 12. And now we have like a little party scene, but it's never hectic. Maybe the bar top fills up. Maybe a couple tables open up, but that helps us generate a little bit of revenue. My thing is, like Mr. Gentleman over here said, TABC, I don't know what's going on with them, the lack of employees or the lack of funding, but the main issue that's going on are these minors and all these other bars allowing these minors to go in and drinking. Another issue is you brought in the police. They're doing their best to do their job, but these kids are drinking in their car, leaving full beverages on, or throwing out all their trash in the parking lot, showing up to the bar already drunk. And we turn a lot of people down. Hey man, you've had a little bit too much. You can't consume anything in here. And just because we do that, the other bars don't do that. They're allowing these minors to come in. They're allowing these people drunk to keep consuming. They're allowing all these things to happen. And because of all these situations, now it's falling against us. And, we're just asking for a little help. If TABC can't come in, who can we ask to enforce these laws about these minors drinking at these establishments? Thank you very much.
So again, he didn't want to say, but he asked the question, why is the city allowing for more bars in the area to open up? Y'all are well aware of what's going on. You're still adding more fuel to the fire, so to speak. Did Perito Cardenas say anything? Yes, Perito Cardenas did speak. He or his family does own Mi Pueblito that is in that area. And based on this ordinance, Mi Pueblito, along with La Troje and other, what's that? Tre Fratelli? No, what's that famous place that everybody likes to go on Thursdays? Frulari. Anyways, Mi Pueblito, a family-owned restaurant by the Cardenas family, is susceptible to these changes where they won't be able to sell alcohol from 12 to 2 a.m. And he says, while my business is usually open after Toscafino. Thank you, Mr. Masso. Toscafino. Y'all know where I was talking about, right? Everyone likes to go there on Thursdays. It's a great vibe. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez, and thank you, Mr. Masso, for that. These bar and grill / restaurants are susceptible to this new ordinance that the city wants to pass. Why are they susceptible to that as well? We have a difficult task before us, and I'm saying we, right? Like if I'm a bar owner, like if I'm a city commission, but something needs to get done. But at what cost? We have said time and time again, the city should do more. Why? Because the bar owners, the entrepreneurs, they don't want to get closed. They are doing everything by the book. You heard an owner say, you wanted more lights, we gave you more lights. You wanted more cameras, we gave you more cameras. If you pass this ordinance, I'm going to $200,000 more of an expense is going to come out of my business that I can't afford. And also, why are you targeting? Why are you signaling out just our area? If you're doing it for one, you have to do it for the other. The city of Brownsville is considering regulating bars by limiting alcohol sales after 12 a.m. in response to a rising crime in the Pablo Quisel area. They're arguing that late night drinking often coincides with this increased disorder and it strains on public safety resources. Who's to blame? The bar owners or the city? I will dare make the argument that it's the city. These bar owners are already paying a lot of money and they're fulfilling their responsibilities with these liquor sales, these taxes that they have to pay to the city. Where's that money going? Can't that money be offset to hire more manpower? We heard from the assistant city manager / police chief that this is costing us a lot of money, that if we equate this through the year, it's going to be in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. Isn't that what you're receiving already from these bar owners? Now, again, we understand that maybe not all of the money should go to that. They have other responsibilities as a city, but a big chunk of that is already coming out of their money. Something has to be done. They need to bring back the bouncer of blackouts in Mexico. Hey, man, you knew. I remember one time, I shouldn't say this, my family watches this program and they always message me, hey, don't say this, or hey, we're watching. No, nobody. And if you got out of line, man, they would correct you. I'm not going to say it. Maybe we do need something. But at the end of the day, it is my belief that it is the responsibility of the city to increase their presence in the area. We understand that this is costly, but the bar owners are already doing their fair share and paying their fair share for this. Why are we subjecting them? Why are we hurting their business? Why are we going after their pocketbooks? You think after this that they're going to want to open more establishments? We want to be business friendly. We want the city of Brownsville to be known as, hey, open up your shop. We will support you. In all fairness, Commissioner Gustavo de Leon was vocal, was passionate. He said, hey, this has to stop. I'm tired of receiving these phone calls, of these texts. Yeah, enough's enough. Something must get done. Vida Loca, how's it going, brother? I need to stop by Vida Loca. I've already gone to 80s Bar. I've gone to the Dive. I need to go to Vida Loca, brother. Hope to see you soon. Something needs to get done, but I will not place the burden on the bar owners. It is the responsibility of the city to police and to provide safety to the citizens of Brownsville. The bar owners already contend that they already paid their fair share through taxes, which are intended to support this police enforcement presence. Ultimately, what this does, ladies and gentlemen, is that it highlights the challenge of balancing economic viability with the city's responsibility to reduce crime and allocate sufficient law enforcement resources where they are most needed. What will happen? Martinez says, we cannot allow a very small percentage of hoodlums to determine how the rest of our citizens will entertain themselves. Most of them are probably not even from Brownsville. Good point. Hector Flores, business owner, entrepreneur from Vida Loca, says, we pay $6,000 to $7,000 a month, sometimes even more. If we equate that throughout the year, they're paying $84,000 for one establishment. In the Pablo Quisel area, there's probably what? Let's say 15 bars. That's over $1 million. Let's say, I'm just using a rough estimate. I don't know if there is exactly 15 bars in that area. Over $1 million of taxes is being recouped by the city of Brownsville. Where is that money going to? I would like the city commission to clarify this. And look, I understand that money is used for XYZ. I don't want to sound like an idiot and say, oh, it should all go to police presence. No, because I know that there are other responsibilities that the city might have in making sure that these businesses are open, right? Maybe these bar owners, and if bar owners reach out to me, I'll be your microphone. I'll amp it up. We want to know, where is this money going to? If we have, let's say, 15 establishments in the public, and that's a figure that I'm just throwing out of my head. Maybe there's more. Over $1 million is being recouped. Where is that money going? Can we have an accounting of this? I am all in favor of having a balance. The bar owners have a responsibility, but an even greater responsibility comes from the city. We need to do more. We can't place blame on the bar owners because they have done their fair share. Why should they get blamed? They're doing everything that you ask, City Commission. You, commissioners, need to do more. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frank Olivo TV. Best believe we'll come on Monday through Friday religiously. All we ask of our people is to like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free, ladies and gentlemen. In the movie Urban Cowboy, they added the mechanical bull to stop the bar fights because men were bored. This is creative, but liability. It would be interesting just thinking outside the box. Maybe. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and attention. My name is Frank Olivo. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 9, a little bit after. My name is Frank Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Peace!